Engineering students, this is your tutorial on creating the presentation file for your assembly. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to, once we open Inventor, we're going to go up to New, and we're going to select a new file. Once our new file opens up, we're going to go all the way to the bottom. We're going to create this presentation file, .ipm. You're going to go ahead and click Create, and it's going to bring you to a blank workspace. And in this blank workspace, we are eventually going to bring in our assembly. Once it loads, it's going to bring us to a brand new background, and it's automatically going to ask us to insert. If not, we can insert a model in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to insert my puzzle cube that I created for you guys through some other demos. Go ahead and open this one. And once it opens up, there's a lot of different features around here. We'll kind of go through some of them. We're not going to touch every single one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, we're going to kind of just take a look at our model, and we're going to try to identify ways in which we can take apart our model correctly. When you are exploding this is called an exploded view that we're creating. We need to take these pieces out like we could take them out when we disassemble this cube and when we're given to someone else to solve. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do something called tweak components. We're going to select tweak components, and we're going to select different components, and we're going to pull them out of the model. But you have to be careful here because you don't want them to clip other parts. So for example, if I have this yellow piece, I know I can take this yellow piece and I can pull it straight out. I'm going to do that by, once I select tweak components, I'm going to select the opponent. Then, once I select this component, it brings up 3 arrows, and they go in the directions of Z, Y, and X. So depending on which way you want to pull this out, you can click on these arrows and actually manipulate them in that direction. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to select this arrow because I think the best way to pull this out is going to be straight ahead. I can't pull it out up on the Y-axis because then it will clip through this orange piece. And that's stuff you have to determine as you're working on this because all your puzzle cubes are different. So I'm going to select this first arrow, and I'm just going to be able to pull it out. Now, a few cool things is I can actually set a dimension to pull this out as much as I want. So if I want, I can say 3.5, and I pulled this out 3.5. And now I want to look at how I can explode the other views. So I'll look at my pieces, and I might try to keep my purple piece where it is and explode everything out around it. So I might take the orange piece next, and I believe I can just take the orange piece back. So I'm going to select Tweak Components again. I'm going to select the orange piece, and even though I want to pull back, I'm actually going to select this arrow because I can bring it back a negative distance. So I'll bring that back a negative distance, say negative 3.5 again. And these distances at 3.5 I'm selecting, they might be different for you. You don't want to explode it too much because when we go to put it on one of our working drawings, it'll be too small. But you want to explode it enough to where when you look at the object, none of the other objects are kind of intersecting it in your view. I'm going to select Tweak Component again, and now I'm going to probably explode this green piece, and I'm going to pull it out. 3.5, and I'm going to just kind of look around and make sure that I don't have any issues so far. Alright. Looks good. And then finally, I just need to explode this blue piece out. Like I said, you can leave one of the pieces, and if I pull this one out, this should work. Again, I can go at negative 3.5, and I have exploded my puzzle cube. There would be the front view. That's what it would look like. Next, I want to go ahead and actually take a look at this to make sure it assembles back correctly and it does not clip through other parts. So once I have created this, down in the storyboard, there's actually a play button. And you can play your current storyboard here. So if I click play, you can see here that it brings it together, and then it'll actually slowly pull each part out, and it doesn't clip in with each other. Now you can do other explosions here where I could, if I wanted to, take this component and I could tweak it again to where it would move up as well. Now, not really sure what this will do, but we can play it and we can see what will happen. I believe it goes in order of what you tweak it, so it will put the orange piece in its original position, and then the last thing it'll do is it'll move that orange piece up. So if you need to move it back and up for any reason, you want to do that at one time. If you come back and do it, then you might get this little area where it holds off to the end. Just like with parts or anything like that, you can actually go into the scene and you can look at the tweaks, and you can actually arrange the different tweaks. So in this case, if the orange piece was the second piece that came off, I could actually rearrange this tweak and move it up in the order. So I can edit it and move it up, I can click and drag, I can move it up, I can do a few different things. So you can see that tweak 2 and tweak 5 are the orange piece. I can probably move that tweak up so they'll happen one right after each other. So again, that's our assembly being exploded. Again, it kind of shows how it comes together, and this is useful for showing the internal parts that we might not see or the exact pieces as we work through it. The last part is we just want to go ahead and file. We're going to save as this. You're going to save this in your puzzle cube, and what it does is it comes up with the name.ipn, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save this as my exploded view and select save. You can go ahead, if you get this box, if you ever get this box, this is just telling you do you want to save any of the parts here. I haven't made any edits to the parts, so I don't need to save them. So I'm just going to save the exploded view. Now that we have the exploded view, when we start working on the working drawings, we will be able to insert this in and identify each of the parts individually.